welcome to the Mod Squad Network's Conversations with the Mod Squad. I'm your host, Kevin. Joining me as always is Felix.
What's up?
And today we have Brandon, the Nerd Tender. What's up, my man?
Ahoy.
What up, G?
How's it going?
Going good, man. What this show is all about is we ask non-traditional questions to try to dig into the mind of who you are. We're going to start off with some rapid fire questions, but I'm not rapid fire, some word association questions. But before that, you're associated with the Mod Squad. How did that come about?
I am, and thanks for asking, Kevin. Like you guys, I started out as moderator for the Bandbox, and that blossomed into a beautiful friendship, and we decided to take our show on the road, and here we are, the Mod Squad Network, growing, seems like every day, with new shows, new accomplices. It's freaking growing. It's getting pretty good.
It really is. All right, Felix, how about some
right.
word association?
Word association, one word, a couple words, just whatever pops in your mind first. Western.
Oh boy. Clint Eastwood.
Green.
Grassy knoll.
Oh shit.
I like
So
that.
was there someone back there then?
Okay, I just need to warn you. This word association, my mind works mysterious ways. Just so you know. So
Rain.
purple.
That's what's up. Memory.
Fondness.
Castle.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Castle.
Sandcastle.
Network.
Ooh.
Sorry, say it again.
Network.
Ooh, Mod Squad.
Rose.
Titanic.
That's a good one. Adventure.
Indiana Jones.
Fear.
Fuck that.
And cheeseburger.
Ooh, delicious.
Delicious. I like it.
Everybody loves a good cheeseburger.
Yeah, except for Harley.
All right, what this portion is, these are non-traditional questions, interview style questions. And to follow up on Felix's cheeseburger, is a hot dog a sandwich?
I've never considered it a sandwich. I don't think this controversy came up until very recently. So, I mean, a hot dog has always just been a hot dog. You know, it's its own thing. I feel like it's its own category of food. I have a hard time thinking of a hot dog as a sandwich. I think people just love to stir up controversy.
I think so too.
So they're just saying it just to start something up then, huh?
Yeah.
And that's what the internet's all about.
Yeah, the internet, especially with the internet, people start shit. I get that. I enjoy it too.
But speaking of hot dogs, when I think of hot dogs, I think of going to an event or a concert, or for me, wrestling events. I used to love being at a wrestling event and hearing that music hit and the wrestler come out of the curtain. You knew exactly who that was. If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what would it be?
Oh man, it would probably be something like Eminem's "Lose Yourself," something like that. Just starts playing, just starts bumping. I mean, I'm a product of the '90s. You know, I grew up. I was a teenager listening to Eminem, so he's always been pretty steady on my playlist. And that's the first thing that popped into my head. That's always kind of been my my soundtrack to my life.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
But speaking of songs that are playing, what is your guilty pleasure car karaoke song? You know, that song that you roll the windows up, crank the music up as high as you can, and just belt out in your car.
Oh my goodness. Guilty pleasures? Um, I have very little guilt. I'm very open with the trash music that I love to listen to. Um, and anything is especially like 80s power ballads, stuff like that. Maybe some Cyndi Lauper. I
Ooh.
I mean, like
Time after time.
female rockers of the 80s are probably some of the bands, and I roll my windows down so that I can make sure everybody else in traffic hears me rocking out to some Joan Jett or something like that. So yeah, anything 80s female power ballads, those are my jam, dude.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Speaking of getting in the car and traveling, what's the farthest you've ever traveled from home for vacation?
For vacation, probably when we were living in Germany. The farthest we traveled was to Gran Canaria. It's this little island off of the coast of Spain, and I think that was probably like a 7-hour flight or something like that.
Oh wow.
And
Damn.
we it was an all-inclusive resort. We did it for spring break with the kids. That was about like 7 or 8 years ago, and man, that was a great time. Chance was like 10 years old, and I remember we both got to experience our first topless beach, so that was pretty
Ooh.
interesting.
Go
At
on.
10, that's something I'd remember for a while.
Yeah, I don't think he forgot either. Yeah, that was definitely a father-son bonding experience. Me and him were both standing out in the water, like waist deep, and these girls are out there just,
Well,
around, and we're both like, wearing sunglasses, looking and see where mom's at.
well, we had to be waist deep to hide things.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. We don't want it to
uh,
get weird.
right. So speaking of traveling, though, if you could travel 10 years to the past or 10 years to the future, which way would you go and why? But only for 24 hours. If you could travel 10 years in the
Oh,
past for 24 hours or 10 years in the future for 24 hours.
let's see. Where was I at 10 years ago? 10 years ago, I was still in battalion uh, before I even went to Germany. Actually, no, I was on deployment in Okinawa. No, screw that. I don't want to go back 10 years. I'd rather go see what's
Okay,
going
now.
on 10 years from now. Yeah, I already did that shit. I want to go see what's going on in the
In the
future. What we
future.
don't know about. I want to go see what's going on in 2034 and see how we've really screwed things up.
Ooh, can you
That's where
only
I'm at.
Out of
imagine?
out of all of the interviews, you're the only forward one I think so far.
Yep.
So
So
Really?
far.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, I already did 10 years ago.
How about a little color theory? How would you describe the color purple to a blind man?
Oh man, you know what? You are asking the wrong person because I am in fact colorblind,
um,
Oh.
and purple is one shade of color that I have a really hard time distinguishing. I'm red green colorblind, so I have a hard time seeing different shades of colors, especially like shades of yellow and shades of red. And so yeah, I am the wrong person to ask that question. I would just be like, yeah, the Purple Rain Prince cover
There
album.
you go.
Go check it out.
Listen to Prince. There's your color purple.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
listen to
got you.
Prince. That's probably it. That's the
to
second
be
time that's
honest with
popped
you,
up on it.
that's pretty much close to what I said too.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is the funniest thing to have ever happened to you that you can legally talk about?
Okay,
Keyword
here we
legally,
go.
Brandon. Legally.
Oh my god, the funniest thing that's ever happened to me? Oh jeez. I'm trying to think. I've had a lot of funny things happen. You have to give me a second on this one to think about. Yeah, something that I can legally talk about, especially.
Legally talk about, yeah.
Man. Let's see. You mean funny, like as in like something that's made me laugh hilariously, or something that's like
Anything that you
happening
can
to you.
think of that you can legally talk about. I keep saying that because I've had some
seems
things happen to
really
me that I can't
pressing
talk
that.
about.
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, there's definitely some things that I can't talk about or that I definitely don't want to talk about, whether they're legal or moral or what. Um, oh gosh, something funny. God, I'm drawing a blank. This has been a tough one actually. Um, man.
I like it. I like stumping you a
Yeah.
little bit here.
Yeah, you stumped me on this one. I feel like I've been on a roll so far, and you really got me with this one. Um, I will say one of the funniest moments. I'll say this. One of the best. So me and Amber used to go to a lot of comedy shows when we were in California, and one of the coolest moments was we got to see Norm Macdonald live
Oh,
before he
nice.
passed away. That was one of the coolest experiences. But I don't know if this necessarily falls into the funniest, but it's one of the most memorable. And it was at a comedy club, and he was actually during his set. He was asking me about my tattoos. He was asking me about my pinup
Oh,
girl
nice.
tattoos as part of his set, and he went on to kind of joke about tattoos and it was such a good night. We were cracking up during his show. That was probably one of the funniest nights of my. Norm Macdonald was always one of my favorite comedians, since watching him on Saturday Night Live as a kid, and then being
Yeah.
able to see him in person, and and talking about my tattoos and stuff, because you guys know I've got a lot of tattoos. So
Yeah.
Right.
that was probably one of the funniest nights of my life, just laughing and being a part of that. That's probably the one
I
I
like
could
it.
talk about.
That's
Yeah.
the key phrase that you can talk about. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. You know I'm a Superman guy. I love my Supermans. We're both comic guys. But
Yeah.
if you had superhuman powers, what would they be, and would you use them for good or evil?
I'm not gonna lie, Kevin. This is actually something I've thought long and hard about, and I've even had this discussion with some people in the past. And I like to think that I'm a good guy, and I would do good. I would use my powers for good. But I mean, we're only human, and I gotta say, I would definitely use my powers for not maybe necessarily evil or nefarious things, but I wouldn't be living like a scrub like Spider-Man does. Got all these, man, use them and help yourself. Help your family
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people. So, but one power that I've always wanted would be to like either stop time or be able to like um, either be invisible or teleport, something like that. Be able to get around
All are
without
good.
being seen is
I like
something that
it.
I've always really wanted to do. But I feel like that really sets you up to do some pretty
Bad
bad
things.
things too.
So for
I
evil.
would I like to think that I'm for evil, but not necessarily good
I got
always.
you. I got you.
Yeah,
I like the prefix there to where
yeah.
I'm good, but
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 yeah,
I'm not a bad guy, but I have some
anti-hero.
dark thoughts sometimes. Yeah, yeah. Anti-hero. I like that. Like this guy right here.
Yeah.
Deadpool.
Old Deadpool up there. Yeah.
As stated before, I'm a comic book guy, but what is one single piece of media, whether it be book, movie, or TV show, that has had the most influence on the person you are today?
Oh man. You know what? And I'm not even lying. I've been, like, you guys know, Captain America has always been my go-to guy. Like, he's always been my
Yeah.
favorite
I
superhero.
cosplay as
Yeah.
him.
I cosplay as him. I've got multiple tattoos. I've got the shield on my arm right there. I've got a
Mhm.
full Captain America piece on my leg, and I did have books when I was a kid, but that was I had a Captain America set that I used to read front to back over and over again, and just his, he's kind of like, with his morals and everything, he kind of reminds me of, like, I honestly compare him more to like Marvel's fan than I do anybody else, with actual superpowers, just because I feel like him and Superman have like the same kind of Boy Scout mentality.
Yeah.
And do-goodedness and wanting to do the right thing at all times, and he's always kind of been that way. And I don't necessarily know if that's why I joined the military, but I feel like, that probably, because, I didn't join the army, I joined the Navy, but that I have to think that that probably had at least a small impact on me, especially, maybe subconsciously, that I wanted to do something, because I always felt like I was meant to do something
Right.
big, something
Yeah.
meaningful. And I like to think that so far I have. So
Well, definitely,
that's the
definitely.
man.
All right. If your life was a movie, though, what would the title be, and who would play you?
Oh man. Who would play me? So I was always a big Jim Carrey guy growing up, and I know now he's a bit older than me, and I don't know if he could play me now, but I always was compared to him when I was a kid, being the class clown. Maybe him, or like an Ashton Kutcher type, somebody
I can
funny
see Ashton
like that.
Kutcher.
But yeah, I always kind of got compared to him too. But what would the title of my movie be? Um, something crazy, something like uh, um, what would the title of my movie be? Um, oh, one of my favorite Sublime songs, "Crazy Fool." Let's go with that, "Crazy Fool."
What's
I
up?
was thinking something like America's Ass the movie. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, Disney might come after me with that one though.
it's possible. It's possible. I
Yeah.
love movies, and one of my favorite movies is Castaway, Stranded on a Desert Island.
Mm.
If you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 items would you take with you, and why?
3 items. Let's see. I mean, I would probably want to bring a good book, because I do like to read. Um, One of my favorite books, I was always a big Stephen King fan, because I'm a huge horror guy, and I started reading Stephen King when I was like 12. And one of my favorites of his is The Stand, and that book is like 1,000+ pages long. So that would probably last me for a while, and then I'd be able to read that one repeatedly. So probably a copy of The Stand. Um, let's see. I'd probably bring. I always wanted to learn to play the guitar, and what better place to learn to play it than being
Yeah.
stranded on an
Yeah.
island with nothing else to do. But I would probably change it up. I'd bring a banjo or something like that, because that would be hilarious. And
I
then,
don't know, man. If people are looking for you and they hear,
yeah, that's weird. They might turn their boat around and be like, "Yeah, we're
yeah,
not going down that river." So yeah, but I don't mind that. I'd probably want to be left alone after a while. And then let's see, the third thing. What's the third thing I would bring? Um, Now, I mean, if I wanted to survive, I would probably need to bring like a knife or something like that, right? Or a fire
yeah.
starter. But um,
I
I'm
like where
thinking
you're
more of
going with
like
the other way. I like where you're going the
I'm
other way.
thinking more of
Banjo.
ways to like keep myself entertained, because I feel like I've learned enough I could probably fashion a bow drill. I watched a lot of Naked and Afraid, so I think I could probably figure some of that shit out. Um, let's go with a third comfort item. Screw it. Let's do. So I've got music. I've got a book. Um, let's go with what's the third thing? Maybe oh, you know what I miss? I miss my Game Boy from when I was a kid, so I'd probably bring my
Ooh,
Game Boy along with like Tetris or something in it.
Check just yeah, you can
oh,
never get tired of that.
Oh no,
No, yeah,
Tetris,
I would probably.
love it.
I just found out, wasn't there like a kid that just recently was the first one to ever get to the last level of Tetris? So I'd probably try and break his record.
There you go.
the whole time.
I mean, you're
Yeah,
stranded, so but no one will ever know you broke it. But
got
I get
shit,
it.
got shit else to do, but learn to play the banjo and beat Tetris.
If you could switch lives with someone for one day, who would it be
Mm.
and why?
Oh man, who would I switch lives with? Now, by switching lives, do I also like gain their abilities? Like,
Yeah.
am I able to do what they can do? You know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you are there.
Yeah. Hmm. I've always wanted to be. I always wanted to be really good at skateboarding when I was growing up, but I had terrible balance and I could never do it.
Uh, Me
And
too. Big kids are not good on skateboards.
yeah, no, I always sucked. I loved the skateboard culture. I always wanted to be really good at skateboarding, but I never was. But one of my favorite things when I was a kid was watching the X Games, and I remember watching Tony Hawk land the 900 for the first time. It
Yes.
took him like 14 tries or something. I'd want to be Tony Hawk for a day and go. I don't know if he can still do it because
That's what's up.
he's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
But I'd want to be Tony Hawk and land a 900.
There you go. That's not a bad one. All right. What is your 1 year, your 5 year, and 10 year goals?
Oh man. 1 year goal. The wife and I are actually working on it right now. We're planning to not only pay off some of our debt, which we don't have a whole lot, but we want to. We're here in Hawaii for a few more years, so we want to see more of the islands. So we want to go.
Hmm.
I'd like to see at least. I want to go see the volcanoes on the mainland and see some of the other islands. So we want to do that in a year. 5 years. 5 years, I'll be close to getting out of the military. Actually, I'll be close to retiring. So I'm just outside of 5 years, closer to the 6 year mark too. So I'm going to say retire
Okay.
from the Navy, claim that pension, and I'll only be 44 when I'm able to retire.
Oh,
So
nice.
44, 45, something like that. So plenty of
Yeah.
youth left in me. And then 10 years, once I retire, we want to, I don't know if we're going to settle down or continue to travel. We've always kind of been nomads, but eventually when we do settle down, which will probably be in about 10 years, we want to open up a preschool for my wife and I to run, because she's a preschool teacher and she's great at it. And I've got some business skills in me, so I think I could probably help her run it,
That's pretty
or at
cool.
least be the handyman and
Yeah.
and
That
help
is a
keep
very
running.
good goal.
Yeah,
I like that. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
All right. And the last question I have for you is, if you took the center stage to the world and the world you had the world by the ear, what would your message be?
Be excellent to each other.
I like it, man. I like it a
Right?
lot. I
I
love it.
can't hate, man.
Yep. Be excellent. Seriously though,
Good
that's
to each
it,
other.
man. I mean, that's always been my thing. I'm always not everybody's always happy all the time, but I try to at least have a positive outlook on most things. I like making other people happy. I like making other people smile. And honestly, I think the best thing we could all do is just learn to be excellent to each other.
Ain't nothing wrong with that message. I believe Felix has some rapid fire this or that
This,
questions to finish
this
us
or
off.
that, rapid fire. Um, just like it says, real quick. Android or Apple?
Android. Apple is a child's phone.
DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
Horror or geek?
Horror.
Night or day?
Ooh, day.
Rock or country?
Rock.
Wings or ribs?
Shit. Wings.
Soft tacos or hard tacos?
Soft.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Chess or checkers?
Chess.
Books or audiobooks?
Books.
And last but not least, basketball or football?
Football. Raider Nation,
Nice.
baby. Woo!
That's what's up.
Nice. Thank you, Brandon, for joining us. Everybody out there, you got a little glimpse into the world of Brandon the Nerd Tender's brain. Brandon, do you have anything that you would like to promote?
Yeah. So of course, and thank you for doing this, guys. This was a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch everybody else's and see how mine compares to everybody else. But this was a lot of fun. This was pretty cool. I think everybody's going to enjoy this. Definitely, want to promote the Mod Squad Network. This has been a lot of fun. We primarily me. I do this in the very little free time that I have. My being on a completely different part of the world, and our times don't always match up, but whenever I'm available, I definitely want to do this with you guys because I love it. It's a lot of fun, and I wouldn't do it if I didn't. So definitely, watch all of the Mod Squad stuff because not just myself but these guys, they pour their hearts into this stuff, so it's pretty cool to watch. And Felix and I have been trying to do a little more in the community with like the movie club stuff, and I started the film roulette. I don't know when this is gonna be posted in the community, but we're starting up the first season of this film roulette game in a few days. So you guys might miss out on the first season by the time you're watching this, but look forward to the next one. It's going to be about 10 weeks long, so you guys will get a chance. I'm going to be pushing that a lot because it's really a lot of fun to just introduce more movies to people that you've never seen before and stuff like that. So I'm all about sharing movies that I've seen that I think other people might enjoy, because there's a lot of cool stuff out there that's not so mainstream, so that's where I'm at.
Very cool, very cool.
Good
All right,
stuff.
that does it for this episode of the Mod Squad Network's Conversations with the Mod Squad. So for Brandon and Felix, I am Kevin saying thank you for being a friend, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah, excellent.